Namaste, dear friends. I've been receiving a lot of calls from parents because parents are worried about the education of their children. The parents are concerned about their education. I actually shot out a video message. In which I asked parents, please send me the questions that worry you most or which are most pertinent. And in response to that, some of the parents have actually written down some very beautiful and pertinent questions which I thought I'm going to answer for you today. One of the questions I'd like to read out to you today is, how can we ensure that the taught syllabus is clear and understood by the student? And this question has come from one of the parents of a standard 9th child, but I believe it's such a brilliant question, and the answer that I'm going to give you is going to be relevant not only for standard 9 but also for standard 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or whatever class or whatever standard your child is studying in, irrespective of what board he is studying in, CBSE, ICSE, State Board, English medium, Gujarati medium. I'm going to address this question slightly differently. The taught syllabus can be ensured, we can ensure that the syllabus taught is clear by two groups of people. One is the teacher group and one is the parent group. Because I believe that education takes place in a holistic manner and an education takes place in a proper ecosystem. However, not going to the details of that, I'm going to talk more about how we at our institute, how we are going to ensure the concepts that are taught are extremely clear to the child. So before that, let me just explain to you that this whole process of teaching, I call it the teaching learning process. It is both an art and a science. See, there are a lot of techniques, there are a lot of systems, there are a lot of procedures, strategies that the teacher has to use. Now, somebody who says that I've gone to college and I can teach is like a person who says, I know all the ingredients in the kitchen, so I'm a good cook. That's really far away from the truth. However, I'm going to reveal to you a couple of strategies that we use while we educate or teach children. I normally call this process of teaching and learning as the knowledge transfer process. So let me explain to you. This is a part of the last 25 years of my work, and I can share with you certain portions which will at least make you understand the kind of effort that we are putting in for your child. And I've rephrased the question from a teacher's perspective, and it says, how can we ensure complete concept clarity consistently? I've made this whole question, which has come from the parent, in a different perspective, in a perspective of concept clarity, which is complete, which is holistic, which is solid, which is actually a concept that stays for life, is not only for passing an examination. And my students who study with me know that I keep telling them this again and again, that education is for life. If you see the screen now, I'm going to share with you, it says teaching and learning. It has a process, and the process is the learning process. If I'm going to focus on just the teaching part, the teaching is nothing but a knowledge transfer. So the teacher has to actually take the knowledge and transfer it seamlessly into the minds of the students in such a way that it goes down into it in the permanent memory, and there is that aha moment. Okay, I understood. That it has to be a feeling of, yes, I got something of value today. We got to plug in from our brains, the teacher's brains, right into the brains of the students, and then knowledge is transferred seamlessly. It's downloaded and without any hitch. There are two things that we do. We use a lot of techniques, and the techniques are both on the teaching side as well as the testing side. So I call it as the teaching process techniques and the testing process techniques. However, I don't want to go into the technicality of the process. I'm going to more or less actually focus on the techniques we use in the teaching process. And I'm going to share with you two very important techniques, which I call as the bridge technique and the repetition technique. The bridge technique says, I'm going to relate that lecture, today's session, to the concept that we learned in the previous session, and I'm going to also link it, or I'm going to bridge it to the next coming lecture or the coming topic. So that way There is a procedure, there is a process in which the knowledge gets transferred and it gets placed in the mind of the student very seamlessly. Let's say if I'm teaching standard 9th student, then I'm going to tell them that what we are learning in standard 9th today, how it was related to the concepts learned in standard 8th and 7th and 6th, and how the knowledge grew. You see, education is a process. It's an evolutionary process. It's a continuous process. So we got to keep the process flowing, right? So when we are teaching something, let's say in standard 9th, then we'd go back to standard 8th and say, look, this is what you learned in standard 8th. And this is what I'm teaching in standard 9th. And the same thing is going to take another form in standard 10th and then in 11th and how it goes. So we are actually building a bridge, a solid foundation, and that makes the learning and teaching process beautifully appropriate for the students. The second technique I'm going to share with you is called as the repetition technique. The repetition technique is one in which the teacher repeats the concepts again and again and again in different ways so that the students can get a layer, and on top of that another layer and another layer, and we do it in so many different ways. The whole focus is not to complete the course. The whole focus is to bring that concept live into the mind by repeating it multiple times. This is what we do at LULLA classes. This is what we do at our institute. And that is the reason why offline or online, our students have shown a dramatic progress in their learning. And I believe that you will see a great amount of transformation that takes place in the subject. So I'm leaving you with these two thoughts, the bridge technique and the repetition technique, which makes the concepts clear, completely clear and consistently. Thank you so much for listening to me, and do keep writing to me. I will try and share as much as I can so that you are thoroughly at ease as far as the education of your child is concerned. Thank you so much.